All right, and we're back with the What Happened series, right? Basically, I just go over what happened to certain characters, right? And right now, we're doing Gogeta Blue. I should have started with him. Not sure why I didn't start with him, but we here now, right? So, what's the real issue with Gogeta Blue? Normally, you guys know, I try to do the frame data first, and then I go to special moves and I try to figure out what's the problem, or I already know what's the problem. I'm just gonna tell you the problem, right? And I want you guys to understand. So let's just go over the frame data real fast. 5L, they did buff his frame data, I will say. This was -5, now it's -3. 2L was -8, I believe, now it's -5. So we got one extra save button. Cool, whatever, right? His 5LL is -10, and 5LL is a whole auto combo, but you know, we don't really need to talk about that, right? His 5M is -8. His 2M is -13, and you know, heavy is negative. For some reason, the medium, well, I guess I understand why, because they did make the medium go a lot farther. I will say they made it go a lot farther, and at the max distance, I know it's -6, but I can't seem to get it. I know for a fact it's -6. I don't know why I can't seem to get it. Yeah, there you go, -6, right? So let's go over the specials. He has a Rekka. First part of it is -8. Doesn't matter which version, because they're all -8. Second part of it is also basically -8. And the only safe part of it is the end of it, where it's -5. Interesting little Rekka. Not sure why it's like that, but it is. And he has a DP. And the DPs, I mean, they're DPs that also hit from behind you, which is good. I will say that is a good part. And the EX DP will do a side flip, right? Now, he has also the beam, right? He has the beam, which is an actual beam, and it's only that so you can whiff cancel it if you just so happen to miss it, which I guess is cool in a sense. I mean, it's nice, but still, if you whiff cancel this and they're just waiting for you, that's 3-2H punish. And he also has beam into 236H Rekka, which if you do the 236H Rekka, it will finish the entire Rekka for you, right? And he has after image, which if you do the after image and you actually hit them on block, it will be -5, but you can also think it, as we all know, right? And you're super negative. So what's the issues with him? The issues with him, number one, the guy can't stagger. He's even with the season 3.5, I guess, patch, he still can't stagger well. I'm gonna be real. Like my man's like this. There's no reason why his 5LO is -10. That's still kind of ridiculous, right? And his medium buttons, none of them are safe, so he can't easily do big damage. The only easy way he can do big damage is if he does the 2M, which they buff, which is nice. I'll say it is nice, but it doesn't fix the overall problem, to be honest. I didn't really ask for this 2M to go farther, but it's whatever. Cool, right? So that's number one. The guy can't stagger, and when you compare him to his Vegito counterpart, my mans can stagger you from basically out here, and you can't really do much about it, because chances are if you do something about it, it's gonna get hit, right? And his medium buttons are safe. Well, one of them is safe, right? If you're up close, it's -5, but apparently at max range, it's like -3 probably. No, it could be 0 on block, which is nutty. Or that's insane, right? And his 2M is -8, but -10. The thing about it is that his 2M can be made safe, right? -5, which is something that Gogeta just can't do. So that kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure why they don't buff that about Gogeta, because I was hoping that I could have sworn Damascus or Tyrant said that they buffed his 5M to where it's -5. Clearly we were lied to, and it doesn't even matter what the distance is, it's still unsafe. Trust me, I've tested this a lot of times, and you cannot make this button safe no matter what you do. Same thing with his 2M. So kind of whack, not gonna lie. Another thing about this character is that his after image, this was probably meant for mix, and it can be for mix, like really good ambiguous mix, but the issue is that he's still just a little too slow. This move, the attack start is 11. This needs to be changed to like 8, because this is just too slow. It's not going to hit anybody. Like, even if you do something like this, it's reactable, right? It's not like unreactable mix. So if this was buffed to like maybe attack startup of 8, that would be a lot better. And even when you layer this with assist, I mean, It's a little more ambiguous, but it's not unreactable. I've set up bots to try to block my own mixes, and I can still, unless I'm using Kid Buu or Gotenks, I can still react to it. So again, and not to mention, just one more thing is that it takes way too long to switch to the other clone. Like, by the time he switches to the other clone, they could hit me and I'll just die, right? It's not like it switches in like a half a second. It takes a while for this thing to switch. So that's also really bad. And while I will say this into 236 heavy is, like I said, is decent, it's cool, but this is not gonna catch anybody, right? I'm being real, like, people can just block this, and I mean, there is a mind game when you get to there, right? You can either DP if you know they're gonna mash, but it's very committal. Like, the things you have to do to get out of this situation or to take your turn back is very committal. And low commitment is what we want, not high commitment. And a lot of his stuff is very high commitment. So if we look at his counterpart Vegito, right? Outside of the fact that his buttons are can be made very safe, I would say one thing that would fix Gogeta is if he had a reverse beat, right? I think if Gogeta was able to do something like this, I think that would help him. I've kind of been thinking about that, and I almost want to say it would, because it would make his strings a little more unpredictable, right? He might not be able to, and I still think he needs one more frame data buff. His medium has to be safe, his off rip, because if his medium was safe, that means that he can possibly do big damage, because people would try to maybe mash on the next button or maybe not mash on the next button, and it would put fear in people. Because when I just do this in neutral, right, not in neutral, but when I do this in a block string, this is very unsafe. This is stupid unsafe. But I do it anyways because people are scared of the 2M, and I can do big damage with 2M. So that's why I just do it. But if anyone calls my bluff, I'm basically dead and I can't do anything about it. Right? The most I could do is just delay the button, but that's not good enough. So I think having a reverse beat would help him. I also think that this needs to be a true teleport. I should have put him on the team, but Hit, when he does 5H, this is a teleport that cannot be interrupted when Hit does it. When Gogeta does it, it's a teleport that can be interrupted by anything, basically. A beam, a normal, a special move, whatever, right? Hit does not have that issue. And honestly, personally, I think that they should make this go full screen. I don't know. Because here's the thing, they kind of turned him into a neutral monster with this, right? I think that's what they want Gogeta to be. I think they kind of figured out what they wanted. They don't want him to be mixed or staggered. They want him to be a neutral monster. So I'm like, okay, if you're gonna make him a neutral monster, when you have this, and then they also buff this move, which I don't really like using a neutral like that anyways, even though the hitbox is bigger, but I still don't like it, right? If you're gonna make him a neutral monster, we should not have to spend a half a bar a meter, because here's the thing, when we have to spend a half a bar a meter, we're also dealing with the meter penalty, right? And then we can't gain any meter if we even do get our turn back. It's gonna be slow, and then we gotta wait for the penalty to go away. I think that this should just be full screen. Honestly, if you're gonna make him a neutral monster, do it right. Make this thing just go full screen. Doing this half screen and make it a true teleport, because people need to fear this character in neutral. That's the issue. People do not fear Gogeta in neutral because everything he does is too committal. If you whiff this Kamehameha, you're negative a billion. That's like negative, what, 93? That's insane, man. And even if you whiff this, you're negative 67 and you can't do anything except vanish. And when you vanish, if you whiff this, they could just easily 2H you. It's just not good. And then, you know, there could be a mind game where it's like, oh, well, you could do this into this, right? I'm gonna be real with you, that is a mind game, but it's not a very good mind game, because at the high level, or I guess even at somewhat of a competent level, when you're playing, especially in an offline setting, I mean, online this is probably gonna work a lot, which is primarily the gameplay right now, but at a high level, people are not gonna get hit by this. By the time this thing activates, it's too late, because people are just gonna jump it. If they see you standing still, they're just gonna jump it, right? Like, that's really all you gotta look out for. And even if you do this, like, close up, right? There are ways to finagle this to, you know, for you to actually do this, right? There's ways, I'm not gonna lie, but the issue with this command grab is two things. Number one, even up close, it's 30, what is that, attack shot 33? 30? That's too much. That's too much. Base Goku has one of the best command grabs in the game, because when you don't do any, even when you do a button into it, it's negative 21. This is negative 21. The attack startup is 21. This is 25. And the attack takes too long for it to be active, for it to actually hit the opponent. It's just not good, and people can literally jump out of it. And you're just wide open. So there's really nothing you can do. And another thing about this command grab is that you can't take your turn. Like, you can keep it, but you can't. Well, not like, okay, let me rephrase. You can take your turn, but you can't continue the combo, which I find very stupid. I'm gonna be real. I've never understood this, why they made it like this. I think genuinely the devs, what they did was they gave this character too much, and they thought, oh well, if he has all this, then something's gonna be good, because you know he has the beams, and he has the 2M, he has all these moves, and he has a Rekka. He has a Rekka into heavy, which I mean is cool to a degree, right? He has the DPs, he has a DP that can do all this. That's cool and all, but none of them have the proper quality. I'd say the best special move of his, low-key, might be the DP, because it hits backwards and forward. And this EX does a side switch, and you can do really big damage off of that. Just as an example, I'll show you. Right, and that most likely, that was, if I did super, that was gonna do about 4k, and most DPs can't do that. Most DPs, the most you're gonna get while just spending a half a bar is only, but maybe at most 2000 damage, maybe at most, right? Most DPs can't do that, so it's unique, but it's just not enough, right? It's this, like, because they gave him a true beam, they thought they can make his frame data bad. No, that's not how you want to, in this game, that's not how you want to build a character. I'm gonna be real with you, it does not help the character in the slightest. And before I wrap up the video, just to compare one more time to some other people that can frame trap really well, Gogeta, I said Gogeta, UI Goku, while this is -9, this spaces incredibly well. Like, I can keep you out here almost kind of like a Vegito type range, and you're gonna be scared, because if I do this into this, you're gonna die. You're gonna die, and you're gonna lose a lot of health. It's gonna be ridiculous. Or I could do this into this, and I'm out of range. Right? Most characters cannot hit, even though it's -7, most characters cannot hit UI Goku from over here, right? And then he can do things like this, where he space it and then whiff an attack, so this way he can do another one. UI Goku has ways, not to mention UI Goku's command grab is somewhat hard to see because of the flips, and you can't stop it with beam or any key blast attack, right? And he can do things like this to keep his turn. And if you press the button here, you're gonna die. The most you can do is try to react to 2H, but people are just gonna be too scared. Like, a lot of people are just genuinely scared of what UI can do, because if he hits you with one of the buttons, you're gonna die. So that's another thing. And let's just take Kid Buu, for example. Kid Buu has esports normals. My man's kid really hits you from like all the way up. If you're not full screen from Kid Buu, he can hit you. Like, if you're 95, 85%, he's gonna hit you, because he can just do stuff like that. He just has the esports normal. Then he has the frame trap where he can do something like this, right? He can, oh, there you go. Look. Oh, he messed it up, but, right? He has that frame trap where if you try to do anything, you're just gonna die. And he can hit you for a lot of damage. That wasn't a true combo, but I'm just showing you as a concept, right? One more character that's really good at staggers, and probably the best in the game, is Bardock. I should have put Blue Goku on here, but it's fine. Bardock has the best staggers because everything is safe with him. Everything except for this heavy is basically safe. We got -3. We got the all-star lineup of safe buttons here. We got -3, -4, -5. No, sorry. Is this -4? Wow, it's -4. -5. 5LL. -5. 5LL. -4. -4. Wow, the whole combo. That's... Yeah, and his buttons are big. And he has a plus on block move with a lariat to get in from basically full screen. And it has low recovery. The man can just do it all, right? The only thing he doesn't have is the best neutral, but I mean, he has this, so it's okay. It's not the biggest deal. honestly. So yeah, that's kind of why nobody plays Gogeta. Because number one, the frame data, while it is better and the moves are sped up, he's a faster character, they're still bad. They're still bad, and it's not enough to compete with a high level character or a high level player. Second reason is that his moves still kind of suck. I'm not gonna lie. The only real move that's good is, I guess, Rekka and DP. This after image thing is still really bad, and this command grab is still really bad. If they need to speed it up, they need to speed up some of his normals too. I mean, this got sped up, but it needs to be sped up more if you want to actually hit people. Gonna be real with you. You can fuzzy guard all of this, right? So this has to be sped up, and this move has to be sped up if they want him to do any type of mix with this. Because there is really no reason to use it. Even when you do this version, there's no real reason to use it because you can't do anything out of it, and you're just gonna get punished. And like I said, one of the things that can fix this character is, outside of the things I just named, is probably the reverse beat. It would make his strings a lot harder to react to, or it would make your strings way more ambiguous, so at least you have a chance of people mashing on your strings because they don't know what's going on. Going from medium to heavy, going from medium to light, it's gonna be a little hard. But yeah, I love my man to death, but the game did not do him justice. And as a bonus, I don't know why they didn't do this, but they did not add that one counter that he did to the movie, and Xenoverse 2 got that move. If I can play a clip, I'll play it real fast, but for some reason they didn't add that. And if they did add that, where it's just a counter to Ki Blast, that would help him a lot because it would make him even more of a neutral monster, which it seems what the game wants him to do, being to the fact that they added this move and the fact that they added the 2M going from way far. So that's really it for Gogeta, man. If y'all want any requests, please leave it in the comments below, and I will check you guys later. Peace.